So back in the summer, when I was building the garden room for my mum, there was an auction in the village, and I went along and had a look what was available. Lots of old tools, but I managed to resist them. Can't buy any more tools until I get the new workshop built. But what I did come across was this old church chair. So I thought I'd have a bid on it.
12, 40. I did the numbers. 11. Do you want 12? 12, 30. Yeah. I done the £12. Nobody else all done the £12.
Now at 12 quid, I think I've got a bit of a bargain and I've got a project out of it. So this thing is definitely in a bit of a sorry state. Nothing looks broken on it, but a lot of the joints have popped open, so they just need gluing back together. There is one screw that looks like it's snapped off, so I could just glue it all back together. But you can see it's been abused. It's got a lot of paint over it. So what I think I'll do is get it all taken apart, sanded down, and then put back together. I'm going to start with the mechanical fixings. This screw is pretty rusted, so I'm just going to use an awl to clean up the slot. Then hopefully it's going to come out. Oh yeah, no problem. Well, that came off easy. So the only other bit that's on with mechanical fixings is this shelf at the back for, I don't know, a prayer book or a hymn book. It's a shame to pry it off, but if I'm going to sand it, I think it's going to need to come off. So I'm going to get in there with a little crowbar, maybe a screwdriver, and see if I can pop it off. It's not coming off too badly. They've done the technique of putting the nails in at opposite angles to each other to make it nice and tight. Oh, that one nail has pulled through. I'm glad I've taken it off because I can now see that this mortise has been pinned with some nails. So I'm not going to remove that back brace. I'm just going to sand it in place. And get the nails removed from this shelf pretty easily, but I think I'm glad I took it off because it could be much easier to sand, but I think I'm going to leave it as it is and try and sand it like this rather than take it apart anymore. There doesn't look like there's that much holding these legs together, so I'm hoping a few taps. Yeah, it's not going to take much taking apart this. Now obviously I am filming this, but I think the odd photo showing how this all went back together might be handy. Yes, I have learnt that lesson the hard way, especially with machinery. I've been left with parts left over, wondering how it all went back together. So, a couple of photos, you won't regret it. Don't even need a hammer, just pull some of these out. I'm glad I'm taking this apart fully now and not just trying to do a few simple repairs. It clearly needed something a bit more than that. So in this mortise there's a snapped off screw and that's why the joint failed. So I'm just going to use a punch to knock that through, and then when I put this together I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to do about that problem. So that's as stripped down as I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave this back frame together because I don't want to remove all the pinned tenons. So now it's the tedious job of sanding. And I'm going to start by using the electric sander with just a normal flat disc in it. So I've got all the bits sanded down that have flat surfaces. Now I need to do all the spindles. So what I've got is an interface pad for the sander. It's about 10mm thick, and I'll put a link to it down below. Now this is just going to help contour to the spindles and get them sanded. Unfortunately, sanding machines can only get you so far. I'm just going to need to go around and clean up all the tenons by hand. Right, I've got it all sanded down and all the tenons cleaned up, but now I need to clean out the mortises. Now this has been glued together in the past using hind glue, so I think I can snap some of the glue just out of the holes, maybe using an awl or a chisel, and then doing a bit of final sanding to clean it all up. Before I actually put it together properly, I think I'm just going to have a little test fit of everything to make sure I know how it all goes together. Well, that's wrong straight away. And then I won't make any mistakes on the actual glue up. Right. Yeah, that's relatively straightforward. So now I'm going to take it apart again, lay it out in some kind of a logical order, then I can think about getting it put together. So as I say, this was put together with hind glue. Chairs always used to be, because you can heat it up and take it all apart again, so it makes it easy for repairs. Now I bought some hind glue, but it's kind of a cheaty one that you don't have to mix and heat up. It just works like normal wood glue. I'll put a link to this down below on the tools I use page. So now I can start getting the glue applied and getting this put together for real. Oh, this stuff is definitely a bit different than normal wood glue. It's more of a, I don't know, a gel consistency. I've got a little brush to brush it in to the mortises. I've got a bowl of hot warm water here, so I can just clear up any squeeze out as I go along. Hopefully that'll make life easier later on. I think an advantage of hide glue is it doesn't go off so quickly, so you have a bit more work time, which is good because I'm already forgetting how it all goes back together. I've given up on the brush already. It was quite jelly, as I said. Now I'm putting little dabs all around the mortise, and then when I push the tenon in, it should push the glue down. That's the theory anyway. We'll see how it works. The more bits you put on, the more tricky it is to get it all lined up. So the extended working time of hide glue is definitely appreciated. Right, I'm just going to kind of wiggle it around and adjust everything so it actually all four legs on the ground, and we're there. So let's get the seat on. Right, it's all together. Now I just need to get lots of clamps on, pull all these joints tight and then wipe up any excess glue as I go, because I really don't want to do any more sanding. Right, that's it all glued up, clamped up, wiped off. Now I'm just going to leave it to dry, and then we can get that shelf installed on the back when it's dried up. I've left this overnight to make sure the glue is properly dry. Now the seat was screwed in through a couple of holes in the back, and one of the screws has snapped off. They were quite short screws but fat, so I'm going to use some longer but thinner ones and get them driven into place. Now this shelf wasn't glued on, it just had a couple of nails holding it in place, so I'm going to do exactly the same. Just get it positioned where it was before and whack 4 new nails in. Right, so it's all together. Now for some finish, and I'm going to go for some pure tung oil. So I'm just going to build up a couple of coats of this and leave it for a few days to cure. So that's it, all done. Now I'm like a proper human being, all domesticated, and I have 2 chairs in my house. The other one you might have seen from a video I done a few years ago, my badger chair. So I'm really pleased with how it looks. Obviously it's no longer falling apart, which is a bonus, but also with it sanded down and all the paint removed and oiled, it's still got a lot of character to it. So, thank you for watching. Thanks to my patrons, and please subscribe for more videos.